Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our classroom. In this space, we talk about education, which is inclusive of, but not limited to, what happens in schools. Education is taking place anywhere and everywhere we're willing to learn. Y'all know the drill. This is how we get down in our classroom. Glad that you could be here today. Welcome all. Excited about the episode that we got going on today. I told you it's been a busy week in our classroom, multiple interviews, these wonderful guests. We've been blessed. We working out here. You know what time it is. So if you're an educator or somebody who loves working with young people and you love to travel, then join us on a trip with our friends at Teach with Love Global. They're a woman and BIPOC-owned teacher travel organization. They offer stress-free teacher retreats where you can unwind with the community. Keyword, community, where you'll be understood. Not only that, but 100% of the proceeds go towards helping underserved students travel the world. So you get to bless others. You get this wonderful experience in community and experience culture while blessing students to be able to travel the world. And the vibe on these trips is that it's always lingering rather than rushing, right? We're soaking it in, and you'll get to expand cultural knowledge, gain personal breakthroughs while traveling to places like Switzerland, Peru, Spain, España, and Egypt, where Lorena and I will be leading the trip in 2023. It sounds far, but it'll be here before you know it. The spots are limited, so check the availability at teachwithlove.com. You love traveling? Love getting to know people, building community, just expanding, and you need to unwind. What educator does not need to unwind during these times? Well, you're going to want to check out Teach with Love Global. It's going to be a wonderful trip, and I'm hoping that many of you who are watching today will be interested in joining us. It's going to be amazing. Today, my guest is Taína Benitez. Taína's a Spanglish-speaking advocate, speaker, and educator, a true lover of helping people. She's been an advocate for inclusivity, social justice, and bringing opportunities to underprivileged teachers and students for over 2 decades. While working to bring a perspective that has historically been missing in travel education, Taína founded Teach with Love in 2012. If you don't know, you better go and ask somebody, because Teach with Love, they're not like these other travel companies. They have their own unique vibe, and they're really speaking to our hearts, to the hearts of the people. Teach with Love is a nonprofit organization dedicated to giving opportunities and resources to underrepresented and disenfranchised teacher communities. The programs are funded through Teach with Love's cultural immersion trips that are a seed to having culturally informed practices. Taína is a former instructional coach who has worked with ministers of education, visionary education leaders, UN representatives, and some folks on national and global top teachers around the world. Taína has been doing big things for a long time. She's spoken at over 20 plus conferences, giving workshops, and been featured on many media outlets, including MSNBC Latino. She's also been invested in supporting Multicultural Classroom and helping us to take things to the next level as edupreneurs. Instrumental in our growth in the past several months through the cohort that we've been participating in. And you'll hear a bit about that momentarily. But I'm excited to have Taína join us. Just an amazing y'all need to know about. So if you don't know about Teach with Love Global, you are about to find out. And I'm not going to contain my excitement. I don't care what y'all say. You could share all the comments that you want and ask me to tone it down. I'm not toning it down, because when I love something, I'm passionate about it. I share that passion with the world. So y'all need to receive it. Yes, that is a command, and I typically try not to command people, but it is what it is. Taína, you're here. Welcome.
Hey.
Saludos.
Buenos
Saludos.
dias. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, like what an introduction. I'm sitting here going like, who's he talking about? But that was amazing.
Grand people need grand introductions, and you're in New York City right now. And New York, I'm from up north. I know New York does it big, so
That's
we
right.
had
Go
to
big or
open
go
it up
home,
for you real
right?
quick.
That's great. Oh, I love it. I love
That's
it.
right.
So,
How you
good.
feeling
I'm
today?
so excited that we're even doing this live. I mean, yeah, we talk every day, so it's cool to have this conversation, but having it this way and letting other people be involved, because you and I, like, and Lorena, when we get together, it's always like really great stuff. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Are you
I'm
staying
trying.
warm over there? I know that the blizzard's coming
Can you see
through.
the snow? Yeah. So we got to get used to
Yes,
the timing
yes.
right now. And it's kind of nice though, because we're all just kind of cozy. And, I've got my café con leche. And, I'm Puerto Rican, so I don't know how some people go. Sometimes it's leche con café. Pero, right?
That's me. That's me. Leche con café.
So yeah, so it's good. We're keeping warm, but we're excited. Thank you for being here with me.
Hey, y'all on the chat, don't be jealous if you just joined. Taína brought me some coffee de Puerto Rico. All right, some Puerto Rican coffee, and it was wonderful. And listen, I would share that with y'all, but we're in the virtual space right now. So use your imaginations and act like I'm passing on a little bit of that Puerto Rican coffee. But Taína's gonna give us a Puerto Rican flavor today. We're gonna feel the vibes. Not just the vibes from Taína as an individual, but the vibes of Teach with Love Global and all the wonderful programming that happens under that umbrella. So Taína, I want to go ahead and
Yeah.
jump into it. Listen, for those of you that are not aware, Lorena and I will be leading an immersive travel trip to Egypt in the summer of 2023. It's going to be our first time traveling to Egypt, and we're going to help facilitate the experience with Teach with Love Global. Super duper excited and blessed to have such an opportunity. And I'm wondering, how do you go about identifying your trip leaders? Because I don't know all the individuals involved with Teach with Love Global, for Lorena and I, this opportunity that you offered us came out of nowhere, and it was like, what? Leader? Where? Yeah, let's sign on to do that right now. And we're fortunate to have gotten to know you in the past several months and be part of the cohort. But it did get me thinking, like, hey, I know about us and I know how we get down, but I try to suspend my assumptions. And I don't want to assume that all the individuals that are leading your trips are necessarily like us. I'm sure there's certain value alignments, but I am wondering, how do you go about picking your trip leaders? And part of the reason I'm also asking is because I think there are plenty of individuals who have leadership skills and are educators, and they might be interested at some point in getting involved with you in this particular
Yeah.
sense, leading a trip.
And you guys are different. All of our leaders are different, which I love. But we're all part of a community. So, that's a definition of a community, right? So we're all different. We all bring our talents. But at the same time, we're all aligned to having the same goal. So that's kind of what we look for. So when we're looking for leaders, we're looking for people who honestly who can teach or lead with love. And when we say love, by the way, we're not talking about like the fluffy, oh, I love all my students. We're talking about the intentional and culturally informed practices that truly will teach with love. And when we say love, it's an acronym. So I don't know if a lot of people know that, but our acronym for love is actually lifting others' voices every day. So that's what we're looking for when we're looking for our
Okay.
leaders. And so what that looks like in this context is not only leaders who can educate our teachers, but empower them and empower them with solutions for maybe what they need right now. And maybe, you know, cultural issues or just maybe issues that are happening at this moment that teachers need help with. So we also make sure that we're not looking for the most popular, right? That's not us.
Mm.
So we're really truly looking for people who are aligned with our goals and our mission. We do have criteria, and the three top criteria that we use actually is one, are they aligned with our mission? As well as two, do they have something to offer that our teachers need? And then the second one that we have is like, do they have receipts? And so what I mean by that is like, do they have success in doing what it is that they do? And then the third one is, and can they teach it with love? So, and you know, we are like beyond excited that you and Lorena are leading a trip for us. But yeah, so that's what we're looking for. But we're looking for a leader.
Thank you. Thank you. So love is at the center. And you said that acronym stands for lifting others'
You got it.
voices every day. Absolutely. That's important. And we want people to hold on to that. All right. Because we all should be lifting up the voices of others each day. It's not just about us, right? You know, sure, we should have our goals and aims and individual progress, but we should be invested in making the community, right, that we're involved in, the people that are around us, helping them to progress, also
Right.
making things better for them. So thank you for that. So while plenty of educators may be familiar with education, the education travel business, it's likely that many have never explored such a trip. And so what makes Teach with Love Global unique? How does it benefit participating teachers, and how does it benefit the rest of the world?
First, I'm going to start with why we started Teach with Love. So basically, had I had teachers who taught with love when I was in high school, I would have never dropped out of high school at the end of ninth grade. So I was about 15 or 16 years old when I dropped out, and I had to get my GED when I turned 18, sorry, when I turned 18 years old. And so I'm good now. I got 4 college degrees. I'm good. But that's because, and thank you. And that's because I had mentors. And like mentors who stepped up out of love and really went out of their way to make sure that I saw another world. And not even that, like a culture, a whole different culture, and took me out of my little community. And that is why I was able to go like, okay, I can do this, right? And so what we do here at Teach with Love is we take teachers to travel around the world in culturally immersive trips. And 100% of the proceeds, though, that comes from these trips actually goes towards our 2 programs that are all centered around students. And so a problem that we found, and as you know, probably yourself too, right, is that global education is not really taught well, or isn't taught at all to our schools, right, to our students.
Right.
You don't really see that in our curriculum per se. And actually, in fact, I was just in a conversation with Nadia Lopez, Dr. Lopez, who some people might know. If you don't, she actually just won an award for top 10 voices on LinkedIn in education. She actually also won the Black Girls Wealth Award alongside Michelle Obama. And we're excited. She'll be leading a trip in Switzerland 2023 as well with Tiffany Jewell. So we're really happy. Tiffany Jewell, New York Times bestseller, right?
Awesome.
So again,
that's our
amazing
peoples.
Leaders. So they'll be leading Switzerland 2023. But basically, so I was talking with Nadia, and we were saying how so many leaders and teachers and students really don't even know what SDGs are. And SDGs, by the way, for those who don't know, are Sustainable Developmental Goals. And those are 17 goals that were created by the UN. And so those goals are basically a blueprint. It's a blueprint for achieving a better and more sustainable life for all. And that's important. And so in our student trips, that is something that we focus on. For example, our kids, when they go on these trips, so we have those student trips, right? That we do, and the students who actually go on the trips, they don't go just to like travel. Yes, they're going to see culture. Yes, they're going to see, learn all these things, but they're going to work with students in those other communities. And what's really cool about that is it fits within the goals. And so what they're doing is for example, one of the goals is like providing lifelong learning, reducing inequalities, and then also just like quality of education. So those are three of the SDG goals that we actually use as a solution with our students on these trips. So it's pretty amazing. It's really life-changing. And so that's beneficial for the students, right? And that 100% of the proceeds goes to pay for that. But another benefit is for the teachers, because our trips are fun.
Say more, because we got a lot of teachers
they're
here who
fun,
are watching.
right? And not only it's just so much fun. And what I love too is like in our communities, you're gonna learn pieces about yourself that you didn't even know about. And that's what I love about when you're in that community. And I'm down for it, right? I mean, we're all down for it. Like, I'm down for listening to languages from all around the world, music, dancing, right? Eating all different types of food, and just like celebrating each other. And it's pretty, you get to be your authentic self on our trips. And I think that's pretty empowering. So,
And we mentioned that there are trips to Egypt, Peru, Switzerland, España. How are those locations
so a lot
selected?
of them are the connections that we make. So I really do have traveled a lot. I've been to over 30 countries myself, but a lot of those countries have been repeated. So I go over and over, and I make friends myself. But I've worked with a lot of UN leaders. I've worked with a lot of leaders in education. You guys know personally, I work with ministers of education in a lot of countries too. And so many times we actually get invited to come on over, because a lot of countries, they're doing amazing things. And people don't realize that, because sometimes we're in our own little bubbles, right? Especially here in the United States. And so when we get out, it's like, they're doing some cool stuff over here, right? And it's
right.
In our trips too, like, we like to make sure that people know that, this is a place you're going to unwind, right? But I think like Lovey Jones even said it best, is like, we need people, we need to be together, but we're going to challenge you. Like, there's going to be a lot of personal growth that's going to be happening. And it's not like it's intertwined in the trip. Like, you're having that fun, but they're going to be having like conversations with you, Roberto, Lorena, and with me. And through those conversations, I mean, the learning that just happens is so cool. But when it comes to the locations that we go to, a lot of times it's just a friend of a friend who's like, we want your teachers to come. The ministers of education, they're like, we want to invite your teachers to come. So I don't know, it just all kind of blends together, and it always works out. And
I love the fact that these countries are inviting us to participate, to explore, to travel, as opposed to, us showing up and just flexing, right? There's a difference there. Now, as part of your programs, you also offer the Teach to Lead program under the umbrella of Teach with Love Global, and Lorena and I have benefited from participating in Teach to Lead. What is, for those that don't know, what is the Teach to Lead program, and who are the ideal candidates for it?
When it comes to our Teach to Lead program, we found studies actually show that Black and Latinx educators actually have a higher need, or a higher financial burden, right? When it comes to like professional development, doing whatever it needs to do for them to maybe advance in whatever they want to do with their career. And so what we do here is we actually take these teachers and we provide them with free programs that, again, is paid for by our teachers who travel with us. So technically they're like sponsors, right? And so these are free programs for Black and Latinx educators who just maybe want to advance or grow, or, as we say, want to be elevated in their careers, or maybe even like their educational businesses that serve our communities and especially our students. So what that looks like too, for example, is maybe like we'll have a global leader who will have a private one-on-one session with our mentees, or another one is maybe we will give them funding so they can attend a PD. So it's the TTL program is pretty neat. And I think you guys can give us testimony when it comes to that, since you guys are in the programs yourself, right?
Right, yeah, and I think you're selling yourself a bit short, I must say, because you provide some in-depth coaching to help for those individuals who are looking to be consultants and develop as entrepreneurs. You provide some in-depth coaching to help really think through, like, what are all the systems that you have in place? What are the systems that you are missing? What are the tweaks that you need to make in your system? What are the different approaches that you're using, business approaches that for many of us who come from the education world, but then venture into being entrepreneurs or edupreneurs, you know, we have the education piece down, but we have gaps as it relates to running a business, and you do an excellent job as a coach of filling a lot of those gaps. And you didn't mention much of that, but I think it's important for the audience to hear that you provide this in-depth coaching, because I know there's individuals who are watching right now that are doing what we're doing, or they're along that track of like, hey, you know, I've actually concluded that I have something more to offer than what I have currently been offering in the classroom. And for those who just want to stay in the classroom, that's wonderful. Or those who want to lead a school like I was doing, that's wonderful. But there are individuals who do some consulting on the side, and they've tested it and they've seen like, whoa, people are really responding to me as a consultant. I want to explore this further. And you provide them with in-depth coaching that could help elevate them and help them get organized so they could have success as
I
a
love
business
that.
person.
Thank you so much. It was great. And I think, you know, like I stand on the shoulders of giants, right? And I feel like glass ceilings were broken for us. And then now may our floor, right? Then we've got our own glass ceilings, but then hopefully our glass ceilings will be the floor for our students, for our mentees, for everyone else. Like, yo, this is our jobs. Is to elevate, elevate, elevate. This is what we should be doing. It's never I, or me. It should be we. And so that is something that I teach too, especially our teachers. And you guys know, perfect example. But thank you. I thank you for the compliment. I'm accepting that. Thank you.
No, absolutely. De
Yeah.
corazón, because I know for us, you know, we've had many moments where we're like, all right, we know we're missing some things, but we're not sure where we go from here. Then there'll be programs that are like, oh, we don't have the money. You know, we just don't have it to pay for, you know, what this organization or this program's offering. And then, you know, you came along and you were following our work, and we started following your work, and we connected, and you bought us a free lunch at Rice and Beans, and we love free food. You know, you had me with the free meal.
Yo, you guys know, for those of you who don't know, well, now you know. I'm over here by Brooklyn, so sorry I had to pull a biggie on you. But I love free food. So, yo, you guys want to invite me over, like, empanadas, rice and beans, mofongo. I'm your girl. I'm the one who brings the empanadas to the meetings. But my teachers are spoiled like that, too. Like, even on our trips, we have so much fun. And my love language is gifts. So if you guys haven't felt it yet, but I do love to spoil my teachers for sure.
But, you know, I think your approach is contagious. And I love that, because that's part of what we do at Multicultural Classroom. You know, we try to support others. We want to build other people up. We want to see our community really come up. It's not just about us winning. If we're winning, that means everybody else around us has to be winning also. So thank you for the way that you've invested in us and many other individuals, and for the impact you're having in our communities. So I want to hear from you. What's the message of encouragement that you have for our audience? You know, you have a unique journey. You mentioned that you were a high school dropout, but thankfully you had all these mentors come into your life. You've been able to have your contacts, ministers of education and UN and so on and so forth. And so what is your message of encouragement to folks who are listening?
Well, can I tell a story, Roberto? Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yes, yes.
Good.
We love we
Good.
love stories. We love stories
And we
in
tell
our
lots of stories
classroom.
on our trips too. So there's so many stories. I got a ton, but as a teacher, I would somehow feel like I didn't have the right classroom. I felt like I didn't have the right decor. I felt like, I didn't have the right tools. And so I'd have difficulty with feeling joy, like joy in my classroom, even joy like outside my classroom. And because somehow I felt like I was an imperfect teacher. And so a couple of years ago, I went to visit my friend Rachel. And Rachel teaches in the second largest slum in the world, in Nairobi, Kenya. And I know you've been to Nairobi too, right? Yeah, yes. We share the
Yes,
love for
yes. I
Nairobi.
love Nairobi.
But so she teaches there. And when I went to visit the school, I showed up, solemn face. I was dressed in all dark colors with my head down. Thinking back, I was dressed like as if I was going to a funeral. I mean, the slums, after all, have 1.5 million, like over 1.5 million people who don't know, like, where their
Wow.
meal is going to be, right? Or maybe have one meal a day. So but let me tell you, like, as I was walking through, like, my five senses were heightened in the most unexpected way. And what I mean by that is, like, the smell. The smell, like, I smell food. You know us, like, we like food, right? We like food.
Your love
It was like, it was delicious, yummy tasting food. And y'all, if y'all haven't had ugali, woof, that's my favorite ugali. Ooh, we'll have to, yeah, we even have like a Kenyan event you guys gotta attend. Is live, that we're gonna be showing. It's my friend Rachel. But anyways, let me go back to the story. So we had the ugali and the tasting, it was amazing. And then, like, oh my God, the touching, like, I touched tiny humans, I touched big humans, I got so many hugs. And like the moms were so sweet and so caring. And the men too. I mean, they would stand up tall and shake my hand. And now Kenyan men, like, they're not gonna cook you a meal, but they're definitely hospitable. And so as I was walking through the school, and when we entered the school, I have never seen so much joy. And it was like the school was just so full of life when I visited the school. And it was just amazing because, like, the teachers have absolutely nothing. I go into these classrooms, the teachers have a table and chalk. Like, that's it, a table. So there's no desk, there's no storage, there's no drawers, right? And then when you look around the room, I mean, they got a pen, chalk, and textbook. That's it. And I remember showing pictures to some American teachers, and they're like, oh my gosh, it looks like a prison cell. So yeah, because there's no decor, there's nothing on the walls usually. And if there is, it's only like the work of the children, right? That's it, nothing else. So there's no Pinterest classrooms, and there's no posters with rules on their walls. But what is filled in those rooms is the thirst for education that these teachers and students have. And like, I ask these teachers, like, don't you ever worry about their families and your students, right? And because these are people who come from the slums. These are people who come and they don't know where their next meal is going to be. And when I ask the teachers that question, I mean, everyone I asked, like, even the people, teachers and non-teachers, I asked that question, and they all responded, we do not worry, God will provide. And these are like life and death worries. So Kenyans take nothing for granted. Like, I was told that when a person dies, they have celebrations with dancing and music. Like, I'm telling
that's
you,
how I want to go out.
Right? And like, And the Kenyans, like, they love to hear about American teachers too. You know, I got a lot of oohs and ahs when I tell them about what we got going on. But let me tell you, like, whenever I'm looking for like pure joyness, like pure joy or pure happiness, I'm gonna look to my Kenyan teacher friends because this was a lesson that I learned a little late in my career, and I learned it through travel. But hopefully, this will be a lesson that you guys will learn today.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, I deem it so important that if people have the opportunity to get out, that they do get out, that they go and observe other schools, get to know other teachers and experience other cultures, because there's so much that we can extract from what others go through. But there's also, like, I'm listening to your story, and one of the things I'm pulling out is that, wow, that sounds like such a humbling experience.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think about, you mentioned like this, it wasn't a Pinterest classroom. Some of those Pinterest classrooms are void of joy. They got all the posters, they got all the bells and whistles, and they're void of joy. And so what does it all mean? I'm listening to your story, and it reminds me of a recent episode on Abbott Elementary. Don't know if you've seen the show.
Love it.
Don't know if you've seen the show. It's on Hulu. I'm not getting paid for plugging it.
But
I think they should pay me, but nonetheless, there was a recent episode where now I'm forgetting the name of the character, but the young black teacher who used to play Chris Rock on the Chris Rock show, right? Right. The young lady's trying to get him to put stuff on the walls, and his walls were bare, but the kids responded to him. The kids were connected to him. And then he put some, you know, kind of generic posters up, and she was like, nah, you got to take these down. Eventually, he ended up putting just the student work up. You know, the student work was on the walls. You know, but even if he didn't put that up, the students were connected to him. And there was joy in that environment. And so thank you for sharing that, and really, really want those who are listening to hold on to the fact that, hey, it's not about, not that the posters and the Pinterest, I'm not saying that's bad, people, don't get me wrong. You want to do that, wonderful. But more importantly, let's make sure that we're tugging at the heartstrings of our students, right? That we are winning their hearts over. You know, and you could do all the dress up stuff and whatever, but make sure you put student work up
and that's all
while you're at it.
In these Kenyan classrooms. Whenever, if there was anything on the walls, that's it. They had the student stuff on the walls. That's it. Because it was about them. Like I said, you know, these kids come thirsty for education. And having no posters of rules on the wall, that said so much. Yeah, these were some of the best and most disciplined students I've ever seen. And mind you, too, if you've ever been to a Kenyan school, which actually I think you have, but especially the public schools, my friend will have 40, 50 students in her classroom. And let's talk about discipline issues. They come in with the thirst, and they're thirsty for the education. Mm-hmm. And so these teachers are reaching out to their students, right? And they're reaching out with their hearts, and they're reaching out in that deep, intentional, culturally informed way, so that they're really connecting with these students. And that's what's really important.
Right. And let me remind our listeners, we're being invited to come on these trips. All right. So the folks from these countries are asking us to come and experience their culture. All right. And Taína, just so you know, Lorena and I, we're trying to recruit the illest group ever to go on one of these trips with Teach with Love Global. Lamar, I'm talking to you. Dr. Lois Barker, I'm talking to you.
He's naming names.
We're trying to recruit. I'm calling out. I'm bringing it to the streets. I'm calling out names. Jenny Soudier, I'm talking to you. Listen, we're trying to recruit the illest lineup ever to go on one of these trips.
Oh, I'm telling you, like, we have the most amazing teachers who travel with us. They really are. And then the friendships, like, y'all stay connected all the time. I mean, we have people who will still meet up and hook up after the trips. And so these, I mean, the benefits, just the benefits can go on. I mean, this could be like a 5-hour conversation if we really want to talk about all the benefits from traveling with this, on top of, you know, where the proceeds actually go, but also the benefits to the teachers, which is great. And what I love too is that all of this is what goes on the inside of Teach with Love every day.
Hey, Keisha, Judy, Amba, don't think I forgot y'all either.
Yo, someone invited us to Granada. We'll be there, boo. Let's go. Let's go. And you can come on our trip. We have teachers who, by the way, like, we have teachers from Mexico, from Canada. We have a teacher from ¿dónde era? Bali. She lives in Bali. She's like, oh, I want to come. Like, she's gonna come. So we have teachers not just from the US who actually come on our trips. We have people from all over the globe, yo. So we all hook up and we all learn from each other, right? It's not like leader versus student. That's not happening on our trips. It is literally, we are all together and we all learn from each other.
Dope. Heather, sign up also. All right, Lorena already called you out. Listen, and real quick, Taína, because we have some folks who are not necessarily teachers, but they love the idea, or they love young people. They're invested in some way, shape, or form in education, even though they might not be working in the school, might not be serving a teacher. Maybe they're a social worker. Maybe they do something else.
Heck yeah.
Can they come with us?
Here's the thing. You got a love for teachers. You got a love for educators. Come on our trips, because our teachers can learn from everyone. And sometimes it's nice to have that diversity of backgrounds, right? So we have social workers who will be coming on our trips. We have people who are guidance counselors. We have people who maybe are spouses of educators, and they're like, yo, I'm passionate about education too. I may not be a teacher, but indirectly, I'm going to be helping your students, right? So anyone who's got a passion for our community and a passion for our students and education, yo, they all welcome.
Boom, let's go. Mori, Dana, Kiana. Those are my nieces, by the way. Calling out my nieces. Let's go. All right, Taína, before you tell us where folks could follow you, if they're ready to sign up right now, they're ready to put their name on it. They got I believe it's a $300 deposit. All right, they spent $300 on coffee when you add up over the months, all the Starbucks coffee. All right, if they got their $300 ready to go for the deposit. All right, where do they go? Where can they put it down so they can sign up right now?
teachwithlove.com. And also on all social media platforms, you guys can reach us at Teach with Love Global too. But yeah, our website, teachwithlove.com. Yo, click on our trips. We're right there. You'll see it. We actually have more trips that are going to be announced too next weekend. Within the next 2 weeks, we have more trips that are being announced. Like I said, I dropped some names earlier. So we've got some amazing leaders. I'm really excited to show everyone that's coming. But when it comes, and especially your trip, yo, Lorena, Roberto, these two are amazing. So this trip's going to fill out fast.
It's going to be lit.
Very small, because we want to make sure that everyone is getting the attention that they need, and also they feel heard, right, and seen. So that's important for us too. We're not doing trips with like 40, 50 people that you usually see from group travel. No. These are small. And we usually try to keep the ratio too from like 1 leader to 7 teachers, so that they're getting what they really need. But yeah, like, yo, it's going to be amazing. And also, by the way, we were able to open up 5 spots for the trip that's happening this summer. So for those of you that are watching, they're like, yo, my passport's ready.
Okay.
I need someplace to go this summer. Come on. We've got 5 open spots now for shared rooms for the Egypt 2022 that is actually being led by the amazing Angela Watson, right? So you don't know who she is, Truth for Teachers. Check her out. And truthforteachers.com. She's got an amazing podcast too, like you. And so she's also another amazing leader. But we just opened up 5 spots, so you guys might want to get that, because last time we opened spots, within about 30 hours, yo, the trip filled up. So we're expecting your trip to fill up pretty quick too. So if you guys don't know, there's only like 12 or 13 spots left for Lorena and Roberto's trip. So you guys might want to hop on quick, because that's definitely going to sell out too. But remember, You guys are sponsors. So what does that mean? 100% of these proceeds from these trips is going to those programs that we talked about, right? It's all about the students.
That's right. That's right. And folks, again, these are some great people leading these trips. Shout out to Nadia Lopez. Shout out to Angela Watson, to Tiffany Jewell, who now be leading the trip. And of course, Tanya Robinson. And some of these people I gotta have on the platform. I gotta interview them for our classroom. But of course, I'm gonna plug Egypt 2023 because Roberto and Lorena are gonna be live. It's gonna be lit. So sign up. First come, first serve. Follow at Teach with Love Global now. Go to the website, put down your 300 deposit, and start packing your bags. So we're going to make it happen, and it's going to be incredible. Taína, thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do, for leading the way that you lead, and for loving the community. You're an inspiration to us all, and I'm hoping that many folks who joined us or will watch and listen to this afterwards will seek to get to know you and know more about your work and connect with you so that they could benefit as much as we have benefited from you. Thank you.
And Lorena.
All right, y'all, we're going to wrap this up. We appreciate you joining us for another session of our classroom. Certainly share this, all right? Share this with your people. Tag them on this. Pass it along. Encourage them to check out Teach with Love Global. And if you have questions, feel free to follow up with me. You can follow up with Lorena. And certainly you can follow up with Taína and her team at Teach with Love Global. Stay warm. Stay making progress. And keep loving people. As we have heard from Taína, all right? We're centering ourselves on lifting others' voices every day. Peace and love from yours truly. See you next time.